Hi, I'm Tony Crawford, and we're recording this in beautiful Spruce Creek, fly-in. We're just about 6 miles from Daytona Beach, Florida. I was giving a student a helicopter lesson up in Connecticut, and an individual announced that he was downwind in a Quest Air venture, which I had never heard of before. And I'm on the upwind on the airport, and I see this thing go by, and it is going so fast I could hardly even track it. I said, I got to get me one of them someday. So that's just the way it went. The nickname for it, because of the way it's shaped, is the flying egg. And a good friend of ours came up with numerous different possible names for it, but we finally decided on Chick's Delight. I'm now retired. I was in veterinary practice, small animal practice, for 36 years in the New York area, Long Island, New York. At one point I was living up in Connecticut and just doing some private flying until I got into helicopter flying, and then bought a helicopter and got my instructor rating and instructed in that, and still do. I actually started flying, took my first flight lesson when I was 13 years old, got my private pilot's license when I was 20. When I was still going to veterinary college at Cornell, and from that point on I was basically just private, single engine land all the way up until the late 80s. Then I got involved in helicopter flying and then got my instructor rating, and then from there I got my fixed wing instructor rating, and then went on to multi-engine, and then finally got into a go-fast airplane. Going out to crew or help crew for Gene McNeely. Had been out there for a number of years, really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the aspect of being on the inside looking out rather than the outside looking in. And I had recently obtained a reasonably go-fast airplane, the Quest Air Venture, and I knew that other individuals were racing them and had raced them in the past. And I decided, well, let's see what pilot and racing school is all about. And my intent was at first maybe just go to pylon racing school, see how that went, and it went I felt very well, and as a result I decided, well, I'll keep on going and I'll race. So I've raced 4 years, and this year will be my 5th. Certainly Mike Dacey, who is presently racing, has been very, very supportive, and he has been extremely helpful in giving me ideas. Gee, is it hard to fly? How is it in pitch? That's almost the common question that is asked. It doesn't fly like it looks. You know, it's very short, and everybody asks, oh, it's got to be so sensitive in pitch, and actually it's not at all. It's a very, very stable aircraft. It's an excellent IFR aircraft. It flies very easily. This past year in the gold, and I was 4th in the gold, 304 plus. Well, the year before I'd been running a semi-fixed main gear and retractable nose gear, which is the way I'd flown the aircraft ever since I started back in '07, and I converted it from that back to fully retractable, and that gave me an additional 16 miles per hour. So I moved up basically about 4 or 5 positions. This year, my primary goal is to reduce weight, taking out everything that I don't have to have in there. I'm redoing the instrument panel. I'm going all glass on that. I'm going all electrical, getting rid of the vacuum system. As they say in Reno, every ounce counts. You're working on the plane all the time, you're tweaking it, you're doing this, you're making sure that everything is working, and preparation for Reno starts the day after last year's race. If you have plans for doing any upgrades, that's the time to start, because boy, if you wait till springtime right around now, or late February, it's too late, because things always take 3 and 4 times longer than you expect them to. So anything that I plan to do, I start planning before I go to Reno this year, and then start the modification right afterwards. Safety is the most primary activity that we all have to be cognizant of. And that's, we're all out there to have fun, we're all out there to race, but we're not out there to get hurt. I was very fortunate I had no mechanical problems. The aircraft flew beautifully and behaved just fine. I was very, very fortunate. Of course, as history will show, this past year was a disaster for the sports class. We lost, I think, 6 aircraft during the week due to prop overspeeds, engine failures, so on and so forth. It was a very bad year mechanically. The good news is no one got hurt. I would certainly like to see an increase in my speed, and of course Vince, number 2, is out ahead of me, and I hope to be either close behind him or ahead of him, one of the two. Fortunately, compared to many of the other classes, it is not nearly as labor intensive, such as Gene's, so the T6s are extremely labor intensive. This is considerably less. In prepping it, it's a removal of antennas and so on, and getting the passenger seat out of it and so on. So it probably takes about an hour to get it prepped for racing. So it isn't really as big a deal as it would be in some of the other classes. But as far as crew is concerned, I have 2 families, husband and wife, that come out with me. They're both very, very close friends, and have worked with me in the past, and they are absolutely essential, because we, the pilots, have to go to so many briefs, and often the aircraft has to be ready and on the line very shortly after the briefs are finished. And if you didn't have a good crew, it would be extremely difficult to handle it on your own.
Time hack, 30 seconds.
It's a blast. I would recommend it to anybody that has any interest in aircraft racing. Please come to Pylon Racing School. Try it out. That doesn't mean you have to race, but it gives you a good idea of what the course is like, what racing is all about out at Reno. And as with myself, hopefully any newcomers will find that after going through Pylon Racing School, they're going to say, yeah, I want to race.
Let's see if Scott can get him at the pole photo finish. Oh boy, look at that. He held him off. 3,